Anti-gay activist Paul Cameron went on a conservative Christian talk show, and Right Wing Watch caught him making some eyebrow-raising comments. So let's listen, and then I'll give you an interesting fact about Mr. Cameron.
Do they use molestation as a recruiting tool?
Homosexuals, from the get-go, as long as we have recorded history, have used the molestation of boys as a way to recruit to homosexuality. Kinsey and I have both, with different databases, Kinsey himself, a homosexual, an activist homosexual, noted that approximately 50 or so % of the boys whose first sexual experience was homosexual in adulthood engaged in homosexuality. In our study, based on a random sample, we found that it didn't make any difference whether the boy was raped or whether it was consensual. That is, if it was with a peer or raped by a man. About 60% of boys in our study who reported their first sexual experience was homosexual in adulthood, engaged in homosexuality. So this is a tremendous recruitment tool. If a gay can get to your son first, the chances are about 50-50, as near as we can tell, that your son is going to be practicing a homosexual to some degree. Now, whether he'll become gay, which is a I've sold out type of homosexual, or a furtive visitor to restrooms and that sort of thing, I can't say. But it's very important to keep your sons from having a homosexual experience.
You catch it at the end? It's very important to stop your son from having gay sexual experiences. Because then they'll probably keep doing it. Hello. Now, also, it goes without saying that the comments on, well, if you're molested, you'll be gay. Nonsense. In fact, did you know that his group, the Family Research Institute, they're a hate group. They're officially categorized as a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center. It's not science they're doing anti-gay propaganda. Okay, but the most important part of that, it's all lies, and then at the end it's the telling part when he goes, well, you just got to keep your kids away from gay people, because then if they're around them, God, they're just going to want to be gay if they have a gay experience. They can't help but blow the cock. Did I say that out loud? Now, you might say, Kyle, you're being unfair here. There you go again, speculating and giving your opinion about the sexual proclivities of people who are anti-gay. It's not me, it's them. From the International Business Times, quote, Paul Cameron admitted that as a child, he felt a physical attraction toward men. But he insisted it was absolutely impossible that he is a homosexual when he was pressed on the issue during an interview on our buddy, the David Pakman Show. Well done, Mr. Pakman. I applaud you. No. That means you're gay. Paul, that means you're gay. It's so fascinating to see the mental gymnastics that these people do that are having massive identity issues, where, you know, they're from a conservative Christian background and they really internalized this moral code that being gay is evil. So I feel bad for them in that respect. But then, you know, they just wrestle with themselves their entire lives. I think, honestly, Bryan Fischer falls into this category. All the Republican congressmen who were caught blowing dudes in New Jersey Turnpike bathrooms, they fall into this category, where outwardly it's being gay is immoral, it's wrong, it's evil, God doesn't approve of it, and anyway, I'm going to go finger a dude's asshole now. Come out. Just come out of the closet. Who are you kidding? Who refers to gay people as homosexuals anymore? Like, already it's red flags going off in my head. If you're that obsessed with being anti-gay and you're talking about keep the kids away because then they'll like it, what you're saying is, I would like it. If I had a gay experience when I was younger, and he probably did, what's he thinking? Oh, it was great. I would just wish I could do it again. That's why I have this urge, because it happened first. No, here's the reality. Let me break it down in a very simple way for people when it comes to the issue of sexuality. You like what you like. Okay, so I'm a straight dude. I couldn't help it. Ever since I was, even before I went through puberty, and before I was interested in sex in that way, because I physiologically couldn't yet, I biologically couldn't yet, I still knew I was attracted to women. I think my first crush, I don't know how old I was, first grade, it was super young. Her name was Bridget. And I remember just always looking at her like, oh my God, I just like her. I don't know what it is. I just want to be around her. So I knew there was nothing that happened to me between when I had my crush and when I was born that led me to want to be attracted to girls. It was hardwired in me. Now, the flip side of that is sometimes people are born and they're totally into dudes and they're a dude. They're totally into women and it's a woman. Or they fall somewhere on the spectrum. The spectrum, you could be perfectly bisexual and be, equally attracted to both. You could be 60% gay, 40% straight, 70%, 30%, whatever. There's a spectrum of sexuality and you fall somewhere on it. But here's what's clear to anybody that's paying attention. You don't choose it. Choose it. What the fuck are you talking about? That's like me waking up tomorrow and saying, I'd really like to blow Fred today. No, I don't want to blow Fred because that's not what my sexual map is. That's not what's hardwired in my head, in my genetics, in my DNA, however you want to describe it. It's natural, okay? And for guys like this, since he's gay and he's struggling with it, he acts, you know how they talk about it always like it's a choice? Now, what do they mean? Because it's a choice for them. They're like, well, I could go either way. Well, I could go for a woman or a guy. I'll just force, even though I want to go more to a guy, I'm going to force myself to stay with a woman. So gayness is a choice. What they're really saying is the sexual acts, choosing to fuck or do something sexual with a man or a woman, that's a choice. That's a choice is what they're saying. But what they're not telling you is that the proclivity and the inclination to go one way or another, that's natural. And they're fighting their natural urges all day long with that.